Good morning, everyone. Dave Ganderos here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Getting ready to give you guys another video, some technical analysis on 4 of the cryptos that we've been going over the last couple days. Before we get started, if you're on my channel here, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to my YouTube channel. Click the little red square here, click the little bell to get notified when I put out a new video. Just make sure you look at the contents of the video description. There's a lot of information here, a lot of ways to contact me, other things I'm involved in, my social media platform, and like for example, this video is going to be discussing technical analysis. So there's a bunch of other technical analysis videos that I've done over the last couple days, weeks, that I list here for you to go back and take a look at. So that's really all I want to say in terms of subscribing. Please comment. Let me know what you think. I've been getting more comments, which is great. Getting some feedback. Let me know what cryptos you guys are interested in. Again, I'm going to go over these 4 today, give you an update on the charts that we've created and how we should modify them or consider new price action since the last time we looked at it. And that's what you should be doing daily, or however often you're looking at the chart. You should be continually reanalyzing the technicals, and based on new, price action, modify it as needed to, represent the most recent information. So with that being said, let's move right into the charts. Okay. So these are the 4, Cardano, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Chainlink that we've been following. I'm not sure why there's no name here, but I'll figure it out. It's probably something with the settings. But let's just start with Cardano. Cardano seems to be still staying within the channel here. It did hit, it saw some resistance here. I mean, support here on the downside. It wicked through, almost touched the second red zone, but as you can see, it's just slowly working its way down. So as it approaches this area where it's going to be squeezed from the upper trend line, it's going to have to make a decision. Now that's probably going to be the decision to go up or the decision to go down. Right now we're here, so if it breaks out here, we're looking at the pattern target of up here, 1.47-ish. If it comes down and doesn't break out until down here, then more than likely you're looking at this second green zone that we have up here, 136. Now on the downside, just still like I said, if it breaks through the 65, then that's a bigger indicator that it's at least going to come down to the 79, which is just about a little bit under $1. This is basically $1 over here. So you might see some reactions at $1. Ideally, we hold the line here and don't go below 65 so that we can, break out at some point here. So you just got to keep moving this, as price action occurs. Just kind of move it, and then just keep an eye on the volume, because breaking up or down below these trend lines doesn't necessarily mean follow through. So when you see a huge spike, something like this or something like this, it's real, and things are going to actually happen, and it's not going to just be a little fake out. Like you see how these wicks, some of these wicks go above and below these trend lines. So you got to be sure it's an actual breakout before you take action and getting into a trade. So really, that's all I got to say about Cardano right now. Next one. Oh, Bitcoin. There's a lot of stuff going on here. There's a lot of people. I'm going to get rid of this Fibonacci real quick to kind of show you some other things that are happening here. There's a bunch of other YouTubers, and I'm not going to take credit for this because I listened to a bunch of people and they talked about it. So I'm just going to show you what they're seeing, and I actually see it too. And it's kind of it's competing. There's some unknowns of what's going to happen. Although I would say maybe the upward, the positive one kind of failed because it came back down. So I want to show you. It's called Head and Shoulders. Head and Shoulders. And basically what you do is you pick, You know, the left shoulder, then the head, then the right shoulder. And so you can kind of see that we're waiting for it to break the neckline here for the positive side. Now it kind of went up and came back down, so I don't have a high confidence that this is actually going to break out to the upside. But if it were, what you would do is you would take the distance from the neckline to the top of the head, and that would be the target of the breakout from the pattern. So if you let me do this again. So if you took it from here to here, and you took this and you placed it on the neckline, that's where it's kind of saying we're headed towards the 57.2, pretty much 57. I would say 57 would be a good target. Or you could see up here, there's that resistance at 48. So, I mean 58. So somewhere over here is where this bullish reverse head and shoulders target would be. Now, the fact that it came up here and came back down, I don't believe that this pattern is actually currently active. I think it's been negated. I think it goes away. And now, unfortunately, what we're really experiencing is a negative bearish head and shoulders, which you can see here. Something along those lines. And if that breaks down, then you're going to go from, you know, the neckline down, which will put us under 40,000, down to like 39 or so. You might see some hesitation over here at 41, between 42 and 40. You know, that's somewhere down here would be probably where, if you're going to play the negative side target, you would try to take some profits down here. So I don't know. I honestly don't believe that the bullish one is still in play. I think it's been overcome by events, so to speak, price action, just kind of like going sideways and more than likely coming down. But I did want to show you something that that's a little different. Not a lot of people talk about it, but it's harmonic patterns, and you can kind of throw them on the chart and again set your targets and your price action targets, and wait for the price action to fall into your trap. This one's showing up on the 1 hour. So let me just get my bearing straight here. This is a very small pattern. It's just happening like right now in this time frame. So it's called a BAT, and it's just basically a cipher pattern. And these occur over and over. I'm going to put on a little thing here. These occur over and over in charts, and basically, you know, you can put these on the charts and you can wait for the price action to make its move, and then you can kind of see where it might head. And I like to use pitchforks in conjunction with these. So there's two sets of pitchforks that you could throw on here. There's one that you do from C to D, and then you put the base back to X. So if you do that, you start at X, then you go to C to D. That kind of puts an upward pitchfork in place. Now, if you remember, if you do the Fibonacci retracements, one thing with these patterns is if you do the Fibonacci retracement and you can figure out where the 15% mark is, as the pivot happens and price action starts moving up 50%, there's a high probability that it'll hit the median line. And ironically, you can see here that the 6.5 is sitting right at the median line. So if you were to, you know, possibly take a trade, you would wait for a price action to move up 15% off the bottom pivot, and then there would be an 80% chance that price action will at some point meet meet back up here in the median line. So that's one trade you could do with these pitchforks and these patterns that show up. Another one, another pitchfork that you could put on this pattern is the other one, going from A to, oh, I did it wrong. Back here, from A to X. And then you kind of just wiggle this around, so low to high to the previous high. So you'd put it on here. So that's how you do a pitchfork, from low to high. If you're going from low to high, then you go back and you look at the previous high. If you're doing high to low, you go from high to low, and then you look back at the previous low. But in this scenario, we always use the X. So you can kind of see here two competing Fibonacci lines. And what this kind of tells you is, as this approaches higher, you're going to start getting actions. Maybe when these two cross right here, you're going to see a quicker action of price action. Things are going to, typically on the crosses, price action happens a little bit more. But if you're playing a game, playing at the target of the median line, you're gonna see that as it approaches this line here, it's going to be forced possibly downward. So somewhere between here and here is the most ideal case of the price action coming back up. And you could kind of just watch for which one is it going to respect. Is it going to respect the downward one? Are you going to see, do you see price action bouncing off these? Or is it going to ignore it? And then is it going to start using this one, these lines, as pivot points? So it's just a nice way of seeing where price action could go. Now, it doesn't mean that price action has to respect these. This is just something you could place on the chart and wait. Again, like if you're looking for retracements here, if you can like I said earlier, if you got in down here, you could consider a price target to get out of your trade here. And like I said, depending on time, there's an 80% chance that price action moves to this median line of this pitchfork. Now on the downside, if it comes up here and doesn't break through and it starts coming back down, then you have this algorithm target down here that possibly, algorithms are going to push it down. So it could come down here to 46. So you just you got to just set the trap, watch for the moves. There's different ways to determine possible price targets of these. Let me just see something real quick here. So that's where we really are. There's still a lot of people talking about Bitcoin coming down to the 41, 40 levels. But depending on what time frame you guys are trading on, this is, this is considered a BAT formation. It's called a harmonic. You can do some research and look at the characteristics. These are known, these are known things, like, for example, let me get rid of, where is it, this one? There's Fibonacci retracement levels that occur, that create this, this pattern. 0.55, it bounces off, comes up, retracement levels that we talked about. So there's, different formations that occur to create these patterns. So if it's something you're interested in, look at it, do research. It's called Harmonic Patterns, and it just can be used nicely with some pitchforks, kind of give you some ideas of where price action might go. If you start seeing it and blast through this, then this pitchfork's not being respected. then you could kind of forget about it, and then you maybe utilize this one. Or on the other side, if it's following this one and it breaks through these lines and you could see that this downward one isn't being respected, then you get rid of that, and then you could start playing bounces off these ranges. Again, this is the median line, and as it approaches away, price action is always driven back to the median. So that's why, ideal case in a bull scenario, you don't want to buy when it's up here. You want to buy when it's bouncing off the lower ones because you're anticipating it to go up, right? So you don't want to be on the wrong side of the trade. Same thing here. If this is the one that it actually respects, you want to consider buying positions when it's bouncing off these lower ones, thinking that it's going to ride its way back up to the upper ones. So you want to make sure, like on a bull side, you want to buy like the low sides of these pitchforks. On the bear side, then you want to buy when it's starting to hit the top because it has a lot of room to move down. So you just got to make sure you're on the right side. And I guess using these, you could kind of see where it is, price action is related to the median, and you could kind of, guide yourself. Are you getting in at the wrong time, or are you getting in at the right time? You want to get in at the bottom because chances are it's going to go up on a bull side. On a bear side, you want to get in when it's peaking over here because you're looking for reactions at these points for it to come back down. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say about Bitcoin. It's kind of going sideways. I think the downward head and shoulders has higher probability than the upward because we just kind of not playing out. It doesn't seem to be playing out. I mean, this is the neckline right here, and it's come back down. So I think the one that's forming here has a higher probability to break out, and then you can see it come back down. It's probably going to come down to these red levels. But we'll see. You can see here. You can see what's going to happen. If it comes down here, if it stays within this channel, then maybe we will come up to this green. Or if the red happens and it starts coming down, then maybe it's going to follow this channel, and this area is going to be hit. So just kind of sit back and watch. Let price action show you their hand. And then you can react to that, appropriately once you see what's going on. So just don't jump the gun. Be patient. Realize there's always going to be another trade, and take that trade when it's right. All right, so next one. This is Ethereum. So actually there was some really good news coming out that there's going to be a hard fork in July that's going to start being deflationary, and the gas fees are going to be taken care of. So although Cardano and Ethereum are going head to head on dominance, I really think this is good news for Ethereum. The gas prices are going to come down, and things are going to get a little bit better and not be so costly for people to do transactions on the Ethereum blockchain. It broke out of its pattern. Although, though, I'm seeing almost the identical head and shoulders here for this one. So there could be some, if it comes down back here, there could be a head and shoulders pattern forming on the downside for this one. But right now it's broken out, and you can see it kind of went around our first green area. It almost touched the second green area exactly, and then came back down. And right now it's in a retracement, and it's touched the 5.5. So maybe it'll come down to here and then come back up. If it doesn't come here and it starts breaking down, then maybe it's going to come back and test this trend line. A lot of times it'll come down and test it before it'll go up. So don't be surprised if it comes back down here. If it holds this line of support, then you can anticipate a move back up. I think over the coming weeks and months, momentum's going to build again in Ethereum because of this hard fork. A lot of people, it's been very negative for Ethereum for the retail investor and the retail person using it because of the high gas fees. The millions and hundreds of millions of dollars that's coming in from institutional investors, they're not going to care about the fractional gas fees for transactions that large. So they're not really affected on this. It's just the small guys that are paying an arm and a leg to transact, you know, lower numbers and lower dollar values of Ethereum, and the gas fees are like 20-30% of the transaction, which is not good, right? So I think over the next couple months we're going to see some very positive price action, especially the fact that they're talking about capping the number of coins and also making it a deflationary burn. You know, all the gas fees that are normally charged are going to be the coins are actually going to be burned and they're going to disappear. So those are, I mean, the miners are going to earn less, but in the bigger scheme of things, you know, there's going to be coins disappearing from the market, which is going to decrease the supply, and if demand even just stays equal, it's going to increase the price because there's going to be less supply. And if demand continues to grow and the supply is going down, then you're going to have the same effect that we see with the halving of the Bitcoin and the supply going away and less being available and more supply demand being, you know, coming to the market. So anyway, that's all I really got to say here. Just keep an eye out for the head and shoulder pattern. I think we saw it over here. Yeah, in the 4 hour. You know, it's not there yet, but it's possibly going to form where you can obviously see this in the works. You know, so if it breaks, then you're going to have downward trajectory, which is not good. You know, if it breaks this neckline, you come back down to the previous low around 1300. But I think with the media and the hard fork and institutional investors happening, I think, you know, just like the other one that didn't play out. Actually, you could see here, there's even a reverse head and shoulders here that didn't work out. So it's an identical pattern as Bitcoin. So it's really a copy of Bitcoin's price action. So it's really dependent on where Bitcoin's going to go, where Ethereum's going to go in the short term. When Bitcoin finally just stops and ranges for a while, that's when typically Ethereum gets the advantage and starts taking off. And we'll probably see that occurring as Bitcoin tapers out, and I think the hard fork is in July. When Bitcoin goes sideways, maybe July is the time for Ethereum to start pumping higher. So we'll see. No one knows. All we can do is come to the charts and put stuff on the charts and take a look at it and see where things are, set the traps, wait for the price action to fall into them, and then go from there. And then finally, we got Chainlink, which is still staying within the channel here. So we're just kind of waiting to see what happens, waiting for it to break out. And, you know, worst case scenario, it's going to get squeezed over here again. And when price action happens, hopefully it goes higher, because I'm a bull. I'm pretty much a bull. I hate going short or selling. You know, I don't like going bearish. But ideally, we start seeing some actions happening here soon. Maybe we'll break out of this trend line and go higher and go to this target that's based on, you know, the pivot low and high of this wedge. So you just got to kind of keep moving it. You know, if it breaks out over here, then you can see it lines up with the previous high here. If it breaks out lower, just got to move it lower, and then now you can see it's falling into place to the second range that we have. So you just got to you got to set the trap, wait for it, and take action when you see it happening. Don't trade within any patterns. Just wait and decide, you know, your risk tolerance and, you know, risk management of your account. All those kind of things are very important. Don't over leverage because of these price actions, and the media has such an influence on these markets where you might have done everything right in the charts and something crazy comes out in news or FUD, and then all of a sudden price action does something different than it should have because of nonsense. So anyway, that's all I got to really say for the 4 of them right now. No major updates. Things are still being formed here. Staying within the patterns for the most part. This one broke out. We just got to see what it's going to do now. Is it gonna do the head and shoulders, or is it just going to, work its way higher to our targets that we have set here? Here, again, it broke out of this. And now, we can set targets based on this pattern, this BAT pattern, and these pitchforks. So, so this channel is gone. So now we gotta, once we see what's happening here a little bit more, then we gotta take a step back and start putting together a new pattern on this part of the chart. Or maybe you gotta zoom out a little further. Zoom out a little further and start seeing what the bigger picture looks like. At some point you got to remove some of this stuff from the chart to clean it up. Otherwise it's just going to get too cluttered. But it touched this one. Now we got to see if it's going to stay within this chart. Maybe it's going to hit the price target too, which is the peak of this wedge here. And like I said, just if you're interested to learn a little bit different, a little bit more on how harmonic patterns work, do some Google searching and you could see how these get created. And they're all Fibonacci based and retracement based, and that's how you come up with these values. I didn't calculate these values, but when you place it on the chart, they automatically get calculated. So yeah, take a look if it's something interesting to you. Otherwise, it's a little more complicated, but it's a nice way to use the pitchforks to set that up. And let's just see here. Yeah. So that's really all I gotta say for the charts. Have a great day. Have a good weekend. I'll try to focus on the new ones and the other ones that I have here. Maybe I'll put out a video on those tomorrow. I got 4 other ones here that I really just don't seem to have a chance to get to. But tomorrow I'll plan to try and have some analysis on these 4. I got some stuff started here, but I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why it's doing that. That's interesting. If you double click, yeah. Huh. Interesting. Gotta open it up in order to do that. What the heck is going on here? Something funky's going on here. I gotta figure this out. I don't know what the heck's going on with my charts here. Well, you can see VeChain, we kind of put a chart on here, a pattern on here, and it's still staying within here, so it hasn't broken out. We put a pattern here on Aave, and it's still sticking within that chart, so there's nothing really to do here. This Voyager is still ranging between these 2 ranges, which is nice. I mean, you could probably, pretty high probability if it comes down here that it might come back up. You might get like a, wow, close to like a 50% move if it's still going to stick between these 2 ranges. I really don't see it breaking down. There's no reason for that. So I don't know. I'm actually tempted to get in on something here because it's really coming down to the low side here. And you can see, I mean, other than this spike, this wick down here, which was that crazy day of trading, it's pretty much respected these ranges. So not financial advice, but it's pretty close to the bottom here, which might be a good time to build a position. And if nothing else, play 48 on 225. And a little bit under like 40%. It would be like a 40% move, I think. 34. So good to be safe. About 30% you can make on this if you get in. You might have a little bit of a drawdown, but chances are it's going to stay within this range. If nothing else, it might be ready to break out. The more it coils back and forth like this, it starts building up. I don't want to say potential energy or kinetic energy, but basically there's a coiling effect, like, you know, pressure that's building by this happening, that is going to like cause it to, when it really breaks out, you know, it could have another move like this once it breaks out. So, you know, if it could move to this amount, that's almost 100%. So if you get in, if you get in over here, and you got your 30% that you're going to make here, or 37%, say 30 just to be, you know, conservative, then you got another 100%. You know, you're going to look at something like close to like a $12 Voyager from $5. So, you know, that's like $10.60 would be 100%, and then another half. So basically, like 150, maybe 125%, 130%. Yeah, that's what that says. I don't know. This is getting interesting. You could see that it kind of stayed, then it pumps, then it kind of stayed, then it pumps. This might be getting ready to do the same thing. So again, not financial advice, just quick look at what I'm seeing on the charts. I don't know what the heck's going on with this one, this graph. I just don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that one. But again, we're still within a pattern here, in a pattern here, and we're in consolidation here, which we're on the bottom side of the consolidation. So if you're a bull, could be a good time to start building a position down here for that final breakout that might be happening here. All right, guys, take care. Until next time, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please like and share the video. Click the little bells and get email alerts when I put out a new video. I'll put out another video tomorrow with a little bit more deeper discussions on these. If you put anything in the video description in terms of coins that you want me to look at, I can start putting them in charts and kind of figuring out what their characteristics are. I like to follow them for a couple days just so I can kind of see what their personalities are. You know, each chart is different. A lot of them will follow Bitcoin's price movements. Some of them act differently. For example, Voyager, totally different than Bitcoin. You don't see this at all on Bitcoin. You kind of see this going on in multiple coins, so it's kind of in the same realm of following what the others are doing. This one I'm not sure about, but it's in an upward ascending triangle, which is a very bullish triangle. You're going to wait for the breakout up here. So that's my take on things. Might be right, might be wrong. Make your own choices, do your own technical analysis. Use the charting ideas that I've shown here with you. This is educational, not financial advisor, but I'm trying to explain how I go about my analysis so that you could take away some information and kind of figure out how you do yours. And you got to figure out what works best for you. What works for me may not work for you. You got to come up with your trading identity, your trading plan, your trading strategy, and just use the tools and the patterns that I'm showing you to do your own analysis. Okay, guys? I wish you guys all the best. I hope you make lots of money in the crypto. I'm going to get into Forex at some point. I don't see any comments saying that you're interested in that, so I'm not really pushing it too hard. But the same type of analysis can be done on those charts. Stocks and stuff I haven't really got involved in, but I'm 100% sure that these patterns can also be applied to those charts as well. So take care until next time. Have a great weekend.